stage, on stage with Jim and Tom. On stage, on stage with Jim and Tom. On stage, on stage with Jim and Tom. On stage with Jim and Tom. And Tom, and Tom, and Tom, and Jim.
What's going on, guys?
A whole heck of a lot, Jim.
It's early in the morning. We didn't get much sleep, but we're here and we're stoked to hang out and talk.
Yeah. So you guys have never really done a project like this before because, Jay, you were in a hardcore band, and Cory, you were doing beats and things like that.
Yeah, exactly.
And now you're playing two guitars, some covers, some originals, and it's a dramatic departure. Why did this happen?
I think that it pretty much started when we became roommates and just kind of evolved into wanting to learn songs.
Yeah, it's great when you have a roommate that is interested in making music, plays music. I had lived with multiple roommates. That's kind of hard to get focused if you're trying to work on any sort of a project. And that just made it easy when, in our downtime, we would want to play music together.
You were saying that a lot of the musicians you've seen that have really been successful or that have, gone on to do things. I don't remember your exact words, but you basically said that, now is the time to dedicate yourself fully to this thing. Could you go into that a little bit more? Because I think that not only is this, an experiment to kind of, share a new type of music with the world, but it's also kind of like a pivot you've made in your life.
Right, yeah. As far as the trip all-encompassing was that it's hard to be focused when you're comfortable. It's hard to be focused around working a full-time job. It's hard to be focused when you have a lot of good times and friends, and you tend to not work on the projects that you'd like to work on as much. It almost is like you need to take yourself away from the comfort of your bed, your home, the coffee shop that
television,
distractions, parties, get-togethers, and we saw Bruce Springsteen together, and he definitely had a much better, well-pieced way to say that, but he basically went on to say that The River was a big record for him that came out. That was the tour that we saw. The anniversary tour, and he said that if you're going to do it, you have to do it completely. You have to do everything has to be about that,
whatever that is.
Yeah, whatever you're trying to accomplish, and you can't have the distractions because it'll only slow you down or stop you. And that was part of why we decided to not just go on a short tour and be able to keep our apartment and do that type of a thing. We decided we need to get away for a while.
What's interesting to me about Jay Why is we've been in the same community for a long time, and I've only known you as Jay Why of Sabertooth Zombie, Vibrating Antennas, etc. It's funny to me that you lived in another place other than Sonoma County before going to Sonoma State, right?
Right, correct.
And then you went to Sonoma State, and then you sort of, I think, in that time period, kind of established the identity that you have now.
Sure.
And that identity was, 10 years you lived that life, and now this is a completely new thing. You've never done anything like this before, right?
Right. Yeah, no, definitely. Always played electric guitar, loud. And I think it's just, you want to be able to do all sorts of things when you're a musician, I think. You don't want to just corner yourself into one way. And so I had actually never even played guitar before I moved to Sonoma County.
Really?
So that was, I came there, went to Sonoma State, was lucky enough to go see local music, which didn't exist where I lived.
Where was that?
Sonora.
Okay.
So there was no shows to see. There's nobody playing music at my high school, anything like that. And so when I saw that, I thought it was a wake up. I was like, wow, there's people my age that are just playing shows. That wasn't where I was from. It was much smaller. Music wasn't there wasn't really a music scene in my high school at all. And so, I think that's part of why I'm just now getting to the the other side of guitar playing and singer-songwriter stuff, is because when I started, it was with I want to play in a punk band. And, a lot of people, I think, learn, more of a variety at the beginning when they start learning how to play music. So this is just kind of like my next evolution was, I've done that, and now I want to do this too.
How much of this project is doing something in your life one way for a long time and then sort of being like, fuck, I got to change this, because if I don't change this, I may never change it? You see other people around you kind of like settling down or like domesticating,
right?
Yeah, it's just, it's definitely not the norm.
Yeah.
And so I think we're fighting that in general, because most of the time when this project was talked about with friends and whatnot, it was kind of a lot of, whoa, you guys are crazy. You're gonna just quit your job and you're not gonna have anywhere.
But then,
to live.
as soon as we actually did it, everyone's like,
"I wish I was doing
that."
Yeah. So I think a lot of it is it's just it's the stigma. It's that's too risky.
It's like
really
jumping
not
off
risky.
of a cliff.
Yeah.
You're giving up all comfort to just go be you and figure it out.
Okay. Would you say, though, that in Sonoma County you were still comfortable, or were you getting uncomfortable because of how comfortable you'd become?
That's the way to put it. It's too comfortable. It was the same thing every night. It was, the same. I had the same work schedule for 4 years. He, forever too.
6 years for me.
You just get into this routine, and that's the routine that I wanted to get out of. And I've experienced that with traveling. And traveling is, if I could choose to do that for the rest of my life, I think that's what I would choose. If there was a way to just continue to always be on the move, I would prefer that, because I'm a creature of habit, and so when I am at home, I fall into that heavily, and I don't like that, but it seems to happen still. So this was a way to. I like waking up every day and not knowing where I'm gonna go, what I'm gonna do, who I'm gonna run into. It's a great way to spark creativity. Because you're just out of it's just a different mindset when you're not where you usually are.
The longer that you are in a routine, the harder it is to break out of that. And so I'm just kind of curious. I'm sorry to keep pressing it. Like, for me, sometimes there's like this growing sense of urgency, this growing sense of anxiety of like, God, it's just the same thing every day. I got to mix something up. And I would imagine this is like the ultimate antidote to that.
Life can be a little too much with the horse blinders, You're just really focused on what you're doing, and you got to shake it up. And that really allows you to learn a lot about yourself, I think, too. I don't think you're, like I said, the routine thing, it can really kind of define you. Is more your routine is defining you rather than you going through your life and having experiences where you're not going to have them when you're just at home and you're doing what you would normally do.
And I think there's a real beauty too in making a plan like this a year out or 6 months out and doing it, and basically not giving yourself the option to fail. It's like, this is what we are doing.
And I was like a year and a half, maybe even more, I think, by the time now that we're to where we are. And because certain pieces would fall into place that kind of made it, well, you can't go back now.
Yeah.
We saved this money.
We bought the van.
Well, we've already told everybody.
That's the other part too. And I'm one of those people that will, if I say something, it's going to be tricky for me to like fail at it. And a lot of people, I'm sure, not to our faces, said, we'll see if they do it. We'll see if they quit their job. We'll see how long will they last? I'm sure there's people that have bets like, 2 months they'll be back.
Yeah.
And so that fuels me too, because we set this idea forward. We want to do it, and I like to complete goals that I set, especially when it's that serious of a goal.
And for me personally, there is no such thing as a fail for this trip or for this journey of music or whatever. It's
failing would have just been not.
Failing would have been, talking about it, and then the final couple months saying, "Well, we're not going to do that anymore." That would have been fail.
I would have been disappointed.
I think that's
put a lot of thought into it.
Yeah.
A lot of planning and preparing ourselves.
really small version of that is this trip that we are on, Timmy and I, right now.
Right.
Yesterday we tried to do a bunch of stuff with you guys. maybe I'll show some clips.
We hope that
We would love to see
Maybe we'll
them.
show some clips or pictures. But yeah,
swamp.
I mean, we went to the swamp to film something, and it started to rain, so we had to pack up all the gear. We gotta go.
Starting to rain.
We gotta pack up. We gotta go. Yep. We went to this cool old house that was destroyed by the hurricane. Got all set up. That
Got
went
kicked
awry. A bunch of stuff went wrong. I mean, we did a lot of work yesterday and then didn't have a whole bunch to show for it compared to all the work that we did. But it's like that wasn't a failure.
No.
Because we experienced
the process.
That was the
not only
process.
we would have never come out here if we hadn't tried, number one. And number two, we got something. And number three, we saw a city that was super cool. And we went places we wouldn't have went to.
Right.
And that's the deal. I mean, you guys could play a number of shows in in those like smaller towns where there isn't music like Sonora. You may go and it may be totally antithetical to the culture having live music, and there may not be very many people at some of those shows. Kind of doesn't matter.
Right.
Because like that the one particular show doesn't matter. The zoomed out thing is what
Right.
matters.
Right.
That's another aspect too with playing this kind of music, especially because we're I kind of considered, okay, like I can go out and play a show with bands before this and never think about it, and this is a different thing. Every night is like, if there's one person there, I'm just excited that we're playing and I'm going to get better, and we want to get we kind of maybe not reached, not like a peak at all, but maybe reached a certain comfort level with how I played music as well.
Right.
And so this was a way to, okay, well I got to learn how to sing and play now at the same time. I gotta get better at it. I have to learn how to write a different style of a song, and that challenge is fun. And it's also one of those things where when you, like you said, you can go play a town where there might be one person at the open mic, or we've played at a coffee house where there was nobody there.
Yeah.
There was just
It was
the person
just the
playing.
people working at the coffee house.
But I'm focused on still trying to do the best I can because it's newer to me. It's more challenging, I think, to try and play music that way than it is to be plugged in. Is larger, margin for error, and so that has been another reason why I think this is so fun.
Right.
Is because it's not like we're going out on a tour as a band that's seasoned and
Yeah.
been doing this for a long time. It's more like we're trying to create ourselves as we go.
Yeah.
You take this trip, you do something like this, you learn more about yourself. Have you toured ever, Cory?
No, I have not. This would be the first musical tour, life tour is what I call it,
Yeah.
that I have ever done.
And Jay Why, you've toured a bunch with Sabretooth Zombie, was a band that you were in. You toured Europe. You toured this country that we're in right now, the United States of America. So I guess two things. The first is, has doing this at 32 been a different experience for you? Have you noticed changes in yourself living the tour lifestyle? I know it's a different tour lifestyle, but it's been how long since you went on a national tour?
Oh, a long time.
Yeah.
6 years.
So I know this is a different animal than what you're used to, because normally, you're traveling with 5 or 6 guys, and it's a much more organized deal. But have you seen anything in yourself that's a little different? I mean, are you more patient? Are you a little bit more chilled out? Are you more anxious doing this?
Yeah, I could say a little more anxious doing this. The main difference with that type of travel is that it's all set out ahead of time. You know where you're going to be every night. You're not anywhere for very long. And we had the option. We could have done that. We could have tried to book a tour. But I wanted to see the country more. I wanted to spend more time in places and feel like I actually got to know the area before we just take off overnight,
If we find a cool town, we decide we want to stay 2 more days, we can stay 2 more days. We don't have anywhere to really go, you know what I mean? No set date,
And-
to be at a certain spot,
And that was more about having fun and playing music with your friends. And this is a little more of, we are playing music together as friends, but I think it's also about us, getting better as musicians.
Yeah.
And that wasn't what those tours were about. That was just about playing music with your friends and having a good time. and like being excited just to get to travel because you're younger. I think this situation, I'm definitely taking more advantage of the idea that, you know, you don't know when you're going to get to do anything like this again. You don't know if you ever will do anything like this again. And so I'm going to definitely cherish it. Because before it kind of felt like, well, this could happen whenever I want it to. But you find out that it doesn't, you know?
I mean, you mentioned that people were kind of maybe behind the scenes rolling their eyes like they're not going to do it.
Right.
But then when you actually were buying the van, stopping the lease, you know, you got some pats on the back. Do you feel like this is something that other people of your, you know, back home friends a little jealous of? Not jealous necessarily. You think jealous?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
A lot of people have said how jealous they are, and just people even that we don't know that we've met. When we explain to them, like a lot of times, obviously the California driver's license, that's going to strike up conversation at every gas station, liquor store, bar, anywhere you go. And it's always like, oh, what are you guys in town doing? And, you know, then I list off the paragraph statement that I've prepared. And they're usually
And what is the paragraph statement?
Paragraph statement is, you know, oh, this is my roommate, and now he's my van mate. We both quit our jobs, left our apartment, live in a van, and are touring the country playing open mics, coffee houses, anywhere, parks, whatever we can do. And they kind of just go, whoa, so you're traveling. And I think too, with the group of friends that we have and being surrounded by musicians who have all traveled, you don't realize how seldom everyone else has traveled. A lot of people that we've talked to have never left where they are at. They say, oh, I was born and raised in Lafayette, and our tow truck driver, he's like, you know, never lived 20 miles further. So I think you really appreciate what you're getting to do, because like I said, traveling and getting yourself out of your, you know, routine, it really changes how your mind works. You know, and I think getting rid of your stuff is, you know, all of your possessions is a big part of that.
Yeah.
You just see, I don't really care about any of that stuff.
Right.
And we didn't even do it the smart way. We should have done garage sales, and but, you know, we were pressed for time because this was, you know, we were both working full time while we were trying to pull this off. So we ended up giving away just most of our stuff to our friends, and that was kind of fun. And you just really find out, you know, you worry about your things until you don't have them anymore, and you don't really care about them anymore.
So many times on the Onstage show that Tom and I do at the Phoenix, which this is an extension of, we talk to musicians about life and philosophy and what's the point. And so many people, I would say half of the musicians that we've had on have said that all they really want is to be able to play their music and travel. They don't care if they get money. All they care about is, can I play my music and can I see the world? And if they could check those two boxes off, then they feel that that would be a happy life for them. And you guys are doing that. And so I think it does come to that sort of existential thing about, like, what are we doing? You know, we don't have unlimited time. We know this. This is not
What else is there?
Yeah, what else is there? And I'm not going to just do this. I can do more. I will do more. There's a world to see, and I'm going to see it. So you guys are a month in right now. And Jay, you and I talked about coming on the Onstage with Jim and Tom thing when you get back to Petaluma. I hope you guys are still into that when you get back from this trip.
Absolutely.
Because I think it would be really cool to see how it all went. Right now we're at the beginning of it, and I'm like so appreciative that you guys were willing to meet up with us and do this thing. And in just a moment, we're going to play you guys playing music on a bayou. We went to the bayou yesterday, and we shot something deep in the swamp. So everybody stick around for that, and best of luck on this journey you guys are taking.
Thanks, Jim.
stage.